Now the gentlelady from Florida, Miss Cammack. You're now recognized for your 5 minutes.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our guests and witnesses for appearing here today. I echo the sentiments of several of my colleagues. Quite frankly, this is a very frustrating exercise because the real issues that are impacting rural America today are not being addressed here in this hearing. And so I have to voice that on behalf of my constituency and my producers, who many are suspending their operations because the cost of fuel has skyrocketed and it's just no longer a viable option under these current circumstances when the price of diesel is over $5 a gallon. $5 a gallon. In fact, it was $5.19 yesterday in my district. When it is that, and we are now having a conversation of renewable energy opportunities in rural America, I think that screams how out of touch Washington, D.C. and this administration is when it comes to the needs and wishes of the constituents that we represent. But I digress. I'm gonna just jump right into a supply chain question, Madam Undersecretary. You know, this isn't our first rodeo with the enormous potential that we're talking about as it relates to renewable energy. But the future that this administration seems intent on foistering on rural America, one that is really dependent on raw materials like copper, nickel, cobalt, lithium, all of which will require increases in production if this administration's version of low carbon future is to come to fruition. So at this time, the lion's share of lithium refining occurs in China, and a significant portion of the world's polysilicon, which is used to make the solar panels. This comes from the region which is under fire for gross human rights violations. Now, China is committing genocide, and this is something that is indisputable. There are numerous reports tying the companies extracting the polysilicon to power this administration's bright, beautiful future to slave labor. Madam Undersecretary, what is your plan to protect rural communities and businesses from being exposed to these risks and evils in what they deem a future energy supply chain? Now, more broadly, what is the administration's plan to increase extraction and refining of these raw materials domestically?
Congresswoman, thank you for your question and for your focus on rural communities, because when it comes to rural development, the work that we do is not the regulation side in terms of mining or in terms of production, but more in terms of incentives for communities so they can identify what their opportunities are for energy resilience, what their opportunities are when it comes to affordable energy, as well as their opportunities when it comes to a clean energy future. And so rural development works hand in hand, whether it's with a rural electric co-op on the electricity side, or whether it's a farmer when it comes to REAP or a value-added producer grant, for example. We're focused on responding to those local insights and how we can best support them in those efforts. So to speak a little bit more about the energy, the electricity diversification, I will defer to Administrator McLean.
Well, thank you.
Mr. McLean again, would you turn on your mic?
Apologies, Mr. Chairman.
We all want to hear you. Thank you.
It's critical about building those very industries in the United States, and not only looking for sources of those critical materials, but finding ways to recover them from recyclable materials. And it is an across-government initiative, not highly focused at rural development, but we are aware of supply chain issues and are dealing with them as we roll out investments in rural electric infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
So I only have 35 seconds, so I would love to do a follow-up on that, but I have to get to this second question because, quite frankly, the title of this hearing today is about rural America and renewable energy opportunities in rural America, keywords to me being rural America, which again, I feel this administration is woefully out of touch with. These are folks that their energy sources come from diesel, primarily when you are talking about equipment. What are we doing to make sure that the cost of diesel and biodiesel is a viable option for these operations today?
Yeah, when it comes to diesel, I just left Alaska, where 100% of some places' reliance on energy is produced through diesel generation. And so the importance that we have in terms of making diesel more affordable, but also making other energy opportunities available is crucial. And so we'll continue to work, whether it's through HBIP, whether it's through the 9003 program to advance biodiesel opportunities, or whether it's through the CCC payments of the 700 million. We will continue to look to partner with you to make those more accessible.
I appreciate that and yield back. Thank you.